We now return to Let's Play Afterlife. So, these are the astral planes here, and it's actually pretty good because we have a lot of open space. I think for this first one, I'm only going to focus on heaven. Between the two, heaven is supposedly easier, and for a few reasons I mentioned in the last video, it is mildly easier to build in heaven. So let's come in here. Now, right away, we are going to want a somewhat bigger gate. The capacity of the small ones is not very big, and we will run out of capacity pretty early on. These first two are 3x3 square gates. These last two are 4x4. So you can upgrade them over time. You don't have to destroy them and put down another one. You can pay to upgrade it. So, anticipating that, I'm going to put it a little bit a ways from the river. Actually, I can look at it. Nope, Heaven's River does not have a, like, here, Hell's River. Some certain things in this game have this little eyeball here which lets you look at artwork. And everything has a description. So, Hell's River. If you should find yourself in hell, for gosh sakes, do not attempt to swim in the rivers. Besides being dank, smelly, disease-infested, stagnant, and crawling with all sorts of unnameable serpents, they also tend to burst into flames at a moment's notice. Hell on 30 pennies a day, Perdition Press. That is the currency of this game, by the way, pennies from heaven. Let's read Heaven's River. Things you should know about the rivers that run through heaven. 1. They're utterly unpollutable. Angels have been dumping heavenly waste in them for eons, but it all just washes away. 2. They're totally potable. Souls on their way to their final reward often stop along the banks of the river to chug a few liters of these vision-inducing waters. 3. They're way wide, too wide to swim across. That's why souls must be ferried from shore to shore. I'm not going to necessarily read all the descriptions of all the buildings because there are quite a few of them, but, you know, I might come in every now and again. Let's circle this around. There we go. And let's begin making a grid. Now let's see, there are 8. This square right here is a generic zone, which means it will take care of souls from all the other ones and put it in there special. And whereas the biggest buildings that are the biggest structures that these zones will produce is a 3x3, the generic zones will produce 4x4. So the generic zones actually have less capacity early on than the actual zone or fate zones do, but the final building for the generic zone actually has a larger capacity. So it's still a good idea to put them down. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's zoom in here for a minute. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Maybe I don't need to zoom in that close. Actually, I think I want to go with a 5x, or 5 different rows, because the topias and the gift structures put out vibes. And let's look at this thing real quick. Vibes, there we go. You can see that the gate is putting out bad vibes. Almost slightly bad vibes, actually. And that is because the heavens, or the gates, heavenly gates, remind the souls of their once mortal terrestrial life. And so every time they pass by, they see it, they get depressed. It's no good. So it's a good idea to counteract that. Just continue on here. Okay. Now, because I'm putting so many roads in early on, we're gonna get yelled at. Because they're gonna say something about how there are just too many roads and people have to walk too far. But I'm trying to think of a good structure here. This one's probably gonna be rather small, actually. At least at first, unless I can do really well with it. And then we will expand it as we go on. In fact, I probably should not be putting this many in to begin with, because it's going to cost me a bit of money. Okay. So now I need to plan my zones. Now, another difference between heaven and hell is that heaven loves diversity. So when you put your zone structures together, it's a good idea to mix and match them. Whereas hell hates diversity, and so you want big chunks of the same color together. Well, I guess we can just start right in the middle, but if I do that, they're going to have to walk all that way, and they're not going to like it. But I also want to think about where I'm going to put my structures. I think I will save these corners for the structures. I'll put another one in the middle. And then I'm going to want... I'm probably going to want some topias in some of these areas, because the topias themselves also put out vibes, but not nearly as much as the gift structures, or the fate structures, or whatever these are called. Okay, well, let's come down here and... let's see, if I put the big... I can put generic ones in the corners here, maybe. And then I can put a couple structures there. Okay, I think I've got an idea. I'm going to start out by only making 2x2s, and you will see why. We want some pattern, something like that. And I want... I think I want to put the topias here. If I put them in, nah, I'll put a topia there. Okay, so your topias also run out of capacity quite quickly. The first one is only 100,000 pennies. The second one is 1,000,000. So, you know, buying this right off the bat is quite expensive, but you're gonna replace this one very early on. And it's just, it makes more sense to buy one of these right away, because the capacity for this is 22,000 and this is 222,000. Although I could just build 4 of these. Because I don't know how quickly. I think these might actually... Well, we can always upgrade it later, I guess. So for now, I'll just put this here. Rather than putting it in the middle, I'll just put it along the side. And then I can put generic zoning around it. Yeah. Okay, next thing we need to think about is the training centers. Now, in the tutorial there, they were saying that we should put the training centers in an area surrounded by our fate structures so that the permanent citizens can get to them. But I believe they put out bad vibes. So I kind of want to keep it near the gates, I think, because the souls will come into the gates and then get recruited by them. These are again something I think I might want to take the middle size, maybe not. We'll put down 2. Well, right away, I don't think we're going to need that many, because they don't actually fill up right away. Let's put that there. Let's also put a road here so that it is attached to the river. As we'll put it here too. Okay, so that's that. You don't want to put karma stations right away. You want to wait until there's demand for that. And that is because the karma stations allow your temporary souls to go back to the planet. And they will leave your afterlife, and you will not get money for them. So, by forcing people to stay in the afterlife a little bit longer, it actually helps you out in the long run. But eventually they will make demands and want to go, so you will need to put one out. But they do produce bad vibes because, again, they take people's minds away, or souls' minds away from their paradise, and they see the karma stations and they think of their life back on the planet, and it makes them depressed. Before we do that, actually, let's look at the community college here. I guess I can read this. Community colleges of the clouds are low-intensity, low-yield angel training centers. Their motto is, if you got a head, we've got a halo. And they've been living up to that credo for centuries, methodically training even the densest of souls until they've earned their wings. By looking at their balance here, we can say how many of our applicants we wish to accept. Now, if we want to keep our angel quotient up, we want to keep this down to, you know, as low as we can get, because that will get only the top applicants through. However, if we look at not that, look at this, we're going to see that most of our angels will be imported. And imported angels will have fairly high angel quotient, but they are not going to be, I mean, they're going to be really expensive. So we might just want to leave this, say, 80%. Okay, 85%. Because we want as many angels homegrown as possible right away, and that'll cut down on our costs. We do now, however, need to make some ad infinitum siphons, and they will go diagonal from a rock, and they will, I believe they will pass charge through each other. Let's see, so right away we only need a couple. There. Okay, that should be plenty for now. turn that off if I want. Let's bring up these guys.
Souls are leaving your afterlife because they can't find their expected fate structures.
Jasper's right, boss. You'd better look at the graph view, find out what kinds of fate structures you need, and get zoning.
Yeah. So every now and then they will make some mention of what you're doing wrong. Like right now, Jasper wants us to build gates in hell.
Until you construct a gate, hell is never going to amount to anything.
Okay, well, I think we are ready now to move along, and we will move to mortal plotting, which is actually quite slow. And we can see that our first souls are coming in, and our humble souls and peaceful souls. Okay, maybe we can move this up to Hounds of Hell. And they are filling in on our generic. Okay, we've got a full generic here. Let's stop, and I will talk about the micromanaging. Okay, so by opening up one of these, you can see this bar and adjust how many, or what the focus of the structure is pertaining to your souls. So we've only got 12 souls in this structure right now, but they are all permanent souls. So we need to move this over there. And now they are balanced. And if we wait and see a little bit, that might now evolve into a bigger structure. Maybe. Okay, it doesn't appear to, and we are now needing a little bit of karma. We see that thing, and we are losing souls to karma.
If you don't put a karma station in heaven soon, you'll be losing souls.
And pennies.
Faster than you can say transubstantiation. Well, the bad news is heaven is losing souls. The good news is you've got enough reward structures, but your roads aren't connected well enough. Remember, the only way a soul can walk from one place to another is on a road. Nerve toggles, boss! Heaven's soul losses are getting a little bit out of control. Maybe you'd better take a few minutes to zone for some new reward structures.
Yeah, we've filled in a lot of our structures here. We're losing 3 souls right now. That's not too bad, but now I need to make a karma station. I think I can afford just to make a small one, because there shouldn't be that many. I'm kind of tempted to put it right next to this. That will save me a little bit of travel. However, if I expand one more row, it's going to be right next to that fate, or the karma station. So if I build it in the corner out here, it would be far enough away that it would not affect the vibes. Yeah, okay. And we need karma track. There we go. Okay, and I don't think I can see it. Okay, I can. I thought maybe I was a little bit too close there. Now, let's look at the planet and see what progress they've made. They've expanded a little bit. They only know fire, and they're all pretty simple people. They don't really have anything. As far as sins and virtues go, we can see that 97% believe in an afterlife. I think that's what AAAA means. And 59%... Okay, so most of them believe that heaven or hell exist. And Ralph. That means... I put my manual away. But anyway. I don't really play with that too much. I don't follow along. I don't really care. Okay, well, now it is time to make a few more areas. So, let's go ahead and another one here. Now, the reason that I'm not just making a 3x3 square right away is because I do want to force them into bigger buildings through micromanagement. It will just help in the long run. And I think that's probably good for diversity. And I guess I can just make, well, let's see. Maybe this is a bad idea. Because how does that go? Yeah, I'll just leave something like that for now. No, we don't want to force some bad things on us. Okay, so something evolved. Balance, okay, yeah.
Whoa, whole bunches of Heaven's rewards are just plain whacked out of alignment. If you ever want to see these puppies evolve any further, you better find them all and use the macro manager on them.
Or you could blow them up and try again. I find a little gratuitous destruction does wonders for the spirits.
Right. Well, I think I'm gonna do that, and this is probably a good place to stop this video for now, so I will see you next time.